morning everybody. As you know from my videos, I do like to bring an assortment of topics. I don't like the same boring interviewing people and just nothing, basically fucking boring. Anyway, if you hear a background noise, it's because I've got the aircon on in the kitchen this morning. It's bloody hot outside today in Parho. And also, if you see me wiping my mouth a bit, it's not because I'm dribbling or drooling over a dirty magazine or anything like that. It's because I had implants in it over a year ago, and sometimes they produce more saliva than normal teeth, I think. I didn't want false teeth. That was the last thing I wanted. So I went through the agony of having implants, and it's not a very pleasant experience. I must point out to you, it's not. I had 9 implants all at once. Can you imagine that? And when they're tightening it up with the screw, you can feel it, the screw tightening on the jawbone. Oh, it makes me feel sick already. Anyway, the reason I thought about this topic this morning, because I'm quite clever sometimes. I sort of do tend to think about things in advance. I transferred money yesterday, and I don't think I've mentioned this before in past videos, but I just want to explain to you, or just tell you my experiences on transferring money from UK, okay? So I don't want any fucking stupid comments that it's my own personal experience, okay? I'm just telling you what happened to me, nothing else. So if you want to send a comment saying, oh yeah, thanks for the information, fine. But I don't want no other stupid fucking comments, okay? Please. Anyway, can you like and subscribe to my channel if you like it and you wish to see more of my seriousness, because I can be serious sometimes. And also, if you don't want to like and subscribe, then turn the fucking thing off now and I won't waste your time, okay? So no comments saying that was a total waste of time. Well, you had the opportunity to turn the fucking thing off, so turn it off now if you don't like it, okay? Thank you. So the topic of this video this morning is transferring money from UK. Now, I've had various experiences with 3 companies: Western Union, Wise and World Remit. I was in Kazakhstan when I was transferring some money to the Philippines to put by, and at first they were okay, but I found with Western Union, I'm doing this online, remember, I found the problem with Western Union is that every so often they wouldn't do it and they kept asking for information and information. In the end, I got a bit fed up with the Western Union online. It's okay if you go to one of their stores or shops or whatever and do it in person and hand it over, because they can check your passport there and then, etc, etc. So that was my biggest deal with Western Union. For me, if you go in person with the cash, that's much better than doing it online, because sometimes, and it's very frustrating, you use them 3 or 4 times and the next minute you go on it, boom, they ask for fucking information. And 9 times out of 10, it's information that you either don't have, or you send it to them online and they won't accept it online. I think it was them. No, it was with Wise. Now, that's my opinion on Western Union. I'm not saying they're bad, I'm not saying they're good, but my experiences with them online was pretty on and off. But if you're doing it in person, they're fine. Now, the next company I used when I came to the Philippines, on some recommendations from people, was Wise. And at first they were pretty good, I must admit, they were pretty good. But then suddenly, one day I sent £600 from my UK bank to their bank, on the promise that they would transfer it to peso in the Philippines. Well, what happened there was I sent my £600 and I got the total in pesos, how much it was going to be converted to. And then they wanted me to give them identity. We live in the Philippines, as you are probably all aware. And the documents that they wanted were 3 documents. Firstly, they wanted a document, my bank statement. Well, I get all my bank statements online. And if I ask my bank to send me a bank statement through the post, it would take about 3 or 4 months, because that's how long the mail does take to get from UK to here sometimes. Not only that, but they wanted tax letters showing my pension. Now, I sent them an online bank statement showing my account number, etc., etc., and the payments of my pension every month into my account. But that was not acceptable. They wanted an original copy of a letter, either scanned or whatever. So, can you imagine the fucking frustration that I've just sent £600 to these knobs, and then they come back to me and ask for documentation, which I said to them, it's impossible for me to provide, but I can provide you an online version of my bank statement and proof of my pensions going in. I sent them statements from the pensions offices that I got a year or so before that I used for my retirement pension, but lo and behold, some wanker in the office said no, they want a recent one. Now, how recent can you get with that month's bank statement showing my 2 pensions, with my national insurance number on it, and I can prove that the other one was my army pension? Not good enough. So, every time I went online with Wise, it came up, I couldn't do anything. It came up with, please produce security documents. I could not even go online to cancel the transaction because it says, please provide security documents. I contacted Wise and they said, go online and cancel the transaction, and they will return the money. Bollocks, fucking bullshit. You go online and you can't get nothing passed. Please provide security documents. In the end, I had to phone them, and the phone number was in Singapore. I spoke to a young lady in Singapore who was very sympathetic, and she said, phone back Monday, I will sort it out. Bollocks, did she fucking hell? You phone up Monday, you get another operator, and then, oh, can you phone back? We're very sorry. Fucking hell. And then in the end, I got a phone number for UK, and you would not believe what fucking happened. Yes. It was the same fucking girl that I rang in Singapore. So I don't know how they do it. Either she jumps backwards and forwards from England to Singapore every day. You just imagine the air miles she's fucking accumulated. In the end, and I mean in the end, after a fucking umpteen phone calls, I contacted the, the Monetary Authority of Singapore and the Financial Ombudsman of the UK. In the end, I had to contact them people, and I got back to Wise and I threatened them with these people that I've contacted them. That £600 took nearly 6 weeks or even longer to get back into my account. After umpteen phone calls and fucking stress, £600 is not 60 peso. It was a lot of fucking money. If you're retired, well, it's a lot of money to anybody just to have sitting there doing nothing. And you go online and you can see your £600 in your account, and you want to and it's been sort of, they've made a transfer for Philippine peso, but you can't cancel it. You can't put it back into your UK account. Why? Because it comes up, please provide security documentation. And like I said, you phone them up, oh, fucking scratching their fucking balls. So I cancelled Wise in the end. I got my £600 back after a load of stress. And it was stress because I was renovating the house at the time. And I had that stress. I caught dengue during that fucking time as well. So it was a very stressful period. And I didn't want fucking some knobhead like fucking Wise refusing to give me my £600 back because I can't produce documents which I told him I can't fucking produce. It all worked out in the end. Let me have a coffee. I've already had my Kit Kat, so I'm in a good mood. Anyway, so you're probably saying to yourself, oh, come on, tell us, how do you fucking transfer money? Well, I will tell you. I use a company now called World Remit. And I have used them for quite some time now. And I use them for reasonably small amounts. I think the most, probably about £500 is the largest that I've sent. Now, World Remit is quite good, I must admit, but I did have one error with them on one occasion, but I've solved that error. And I'll tell you, it's a tip in case it happens to you. I went on World Remit and joined and everything else, and I say, for example, like yesterday, for example, I wanted to send £200 to my PNB bank here in Paho. I went on World Remit. They told me the exchange rate, which I think was 13,000 something, and the exchange rate is quite good. I compare it with the XC app, and it's only about 100 and something peso less, so it's not too bad. They tell me how much peso I'm going to get, and then they add a commission fee, which is only £1.99. Now, I know the total now, how much I've got to send. Now, with World Remit, I go through the process and say, yes, I'm going to make a bank transfer from my bank to their bank, and they transfer it from their bank to my bank in the Philippines. So it's coming from my account to my account. Now, I always wait now to get a, where is it? I had it written down. A transfer created. Go through the procedure, and then they will come up on the screen saying transfer created. Please submit money. And it will give you a sort of drop down menu of what the process is. The first one I think is transfer created, received money, blah, blah, blah. What I do now, I do not send money to World Remit until I receive a transfer request, or should I say a transfer created. Sorry, I'm looking down on some notes. They create a transfer and then I send the money, and I'll tell you why. It doesn't make any difference. One night I went on World Remit to make a transfer. I said, for example, I wanted to send £100. They told me how much it is in peso. Can you please pay now? So I went back onto my bank in UK and I transferred £100 to World Remit. Now I went back onto the World Remit website and I said I paid the payment, but due to a glitch, whatever you fucking call it, in their website system, it didn't create a transfer for me. So I got various emails from World Remit saying, please create a transfer, blah, 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 blah. Well, I couldn't, because when I got to that stage on my laptop, on their website, it wouldn't come up. I phoned them. and the fucking dickhead on the other end. And you always get these dickheads in these fucking call centres. They must just read a list of items. They said to me, can you go onto your website and create a transfer? And I said, bollocks. I said, I cannot create a transfer because it does not come up on the website. It must be a fault with your system. Oh, okay. In the end, I cancelled the transaction, and I wrote to them by email, and I got a response by email that the payment will be returned to my bank account within 7 days. And yes, it was. They repaid my money back in 7 days. No problem. So what I do now, and if you want to join WorldRemit, this is what I advise you to do to save you having money stuck and then cancelling them and getting it returned. Go through the actions of telling them how much you want to transfer. They tell you how much you're getting pesos. You tell them you're going to do a bank transfer, or whichever way you want to do it. I do it by bank transfer. And then they will give you a little list of the fee and the total that you have to send. And then they tell you to pay the money, and then a transfer is created. And you can see the transfer with your transfer number and the drop down menu telling you what each stage that you have completed. And the first one, I think, is transfer created. Second one, received money. Third one, I think, is transferred funds, whatever. Wait until you get that transfer created, and then go onto your bank and transfer the money. That's what I do. I don't send the money before I receive a transfer number. And they will send you an email saying transfer has been created, number blah 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 blah. So you do know that a transfer has been created, and the operator in WorldRemit will pick up your money in the bank because it's you have your own special number, and then the transfer is already created and they transfer it. I transferred money yesterday afternoon, and I believe within a couple of hours I had a notification from PNB Bank saying X amount of money has now been added to your account. So that was I would use WorldRemit. That's my own personal opinion. If you're happy with another company, then fine, you continue with those people. Now, the other company I use for big amounts, when I was buying the house and etc., and I'm sending like 1 million peso or something like that, I always use a company for large amounts of money called Smart Currency. They're based in London. You can join them. In fact, if you join and give them my name, I get £25. But obviously you won't. So for big amounts, I suggest Smart Currency. It's quite simple. You tell them, you write an email to them. At first you may have to show some sort of ID, but when you write to them, you say how much for £20,000 into US dollars. They come back and tell you, and they say, would you like me to hold this for you? You write back and say yes. You transfer the money to their Barclays account in the UK. They send you a contract with all the details and who you're sending it to. And then you just leave it with them. And then sometime later, you'll receive another email saying funds out. Once they have received your funds and done all the paperwork, they will send you an email say funds out, and you know that your funds are on the way. Very straightforward. Their exchange rate is not as good as what WorldRemit is or some of the other local ones, but it's a large amount, and I've got more trust in a company like this, Smart Currency, for large amounts. I know that on the other, like WorldRemit and maybe Western Union, etc., they may have a sort of limit on what your daily sum that you can send is, okay? So that's what I do. For small amounts, everyday usage, I use World Remit, and for big amounts, I use Smart Currency. Now, they are my choices. You may have other choices that work fine for you. That's great. I'm just letting people know the ones that I use and some of the issues that I've had with them. So just, I hope the video is okay. If it's not, fucking tough. I just done it on the spur of the moment, thinking that I transferred money yesterday and it was in my account within a couple of hours. Anyway, have a good day. I shall start thinking about my next video. Try not to upset too many people. And did you get the joke that I said yesterday? 10 o'clock, I always have a Kit Kat. And I said to people, what is the difference between a prostitute and a Kit Kat? You only get 4 fingers in a Kit Kat. Anyway, have a nice day. Bye.